Good afternoon. I hope that you're doing well. I apologize for the lighting. I cannot seem to get good lighting this week or last week. I was editing the last Knitting Podcast episode this morning, and I spent so long trying to fix the lighting in that. I couldn't. It's still a bit of a mess. It's less of a mess than it was earlier, but I don't really have time to refilm that, and also I've progressed with some of the projects, so it is what it is. It's going to stay like that, but I hope at least it's just gloomy, but it doesn't seem like the clouds are going in and out today, so we should be, a little bit better off. But I wanted to show you a couple of things that I got. So there's one thing that I got on Saturday at the book salon, or the book fair. I never know how to call it in English. I went with a friend on Saturday. My original plan for this year was to go all of the 5 days, and then plans fell through and so much came up and I couldn't, but I'm glad that I at least got to go one day. It was really good in the morning, and then by the time it got to 3 p.m, half 3, it got so busy that you couldn't see anything. You were just walking and elbowing people, and it just wasn't fun anymore. But by the time that started to be a problem, we'd gotten to the end, so we just kind of walked all the way back, so we could exit from the place that we entered. But at least the morning we had a really, really good time, and early in the afternoon too. I wasn't going to buy books. I have a pile of books to read on my bedside table. I'm still working my way through The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. I've not read much in the last week or so, and I really only read on my way to uni and back, so it's not it's not a lot of time to get through a 500 plus page book, but I do have a couple of shorter ones lined up after that that I'm really excited about reading. But I did pick up one thing which was not on my list, but I picked up a graphic novel that was a stand that had some really nice graphic novels, and this one really spoke to me. I really like the art style, and I thought I would get it. I have never really read many graphic novels, but mostly just because I've not really had much access to it, but I really liked the look of this one, just the illustration style. What really drew me in at first was that the cover is printed on watercolor paper, so it feels like watercolor paper, and so from an artistic standpoint I was immediately sold, but also just the drawing style, and the coloring, especially this page I really like, this color palette especially. So I've not read it yet, but I will, hopefully probably this week. So I really like that. It just, I don't know, we'll see if I like it. I'll let you know. So that's what I picked up on Saturday. I also had a couple of bits of ephemera. We were given bookmarks. You always come out of that with a pile of bookmarks. I try to avoid some of them because I have so many already. And then I still end up using receipts for bookmarks because I forget to take them with me. I also really I have a couple of magnetic ones. I really like those because you don't lose them when you're reading on the bus. But then I didn't really buy anything else, but I ordered myself a new ink as I don't know, a kind of birthday present, I suppose. I wanted to get some red ink. I was debating between a couple. I really thought I was going to get, is it called Blood Orange, by Diamine Inks? I'm not sure. I have a screenshot of it somewhere. Let me find it. Yes, the Diamine Blood Orange, which is a bit of a lighter, very orange tone red, but still quite muted. It's not a really bright red. And then the other one that I was debating between, which is the one that I ultimately ended up getting, is this one. It's the Metamorphosis by Wearingeul, which is a Korean brand from what I can tell. And they make some really cool inks named after books and book characters. I was looking at them the other day because I found this just by looking on my usual stationery store website, which is Stile, which is where I get all of my Hobonichi stuff from as well. I just filtered through all of the inks for red ones, and I found this one. But I was looking at the brand specifically, and I saw that they have like plenty of them. There's two separate ones for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and a lot of other ones from like books that I really like. So very interesting, very good to know. But this one I really liked, and it's like a really, well, there's this watch, but it probably just looks black on camera. But it's like a really deep red, like burgundy tone that I really like. And I specifically wanted to get this, not so much for writing, although I did end up inking my extra fine nib Twisby Eco with it, because I had that one with me when I went home. And so I am actually using it for writing as well at the moment. You know, I've been writing it with it for a couple of pages. I do like it. I just don't know that I like it with the rest of the colourful page, but if anything, you know, I'll just keep it there, and I might just start writing in my Hon with a different black pen, because I can't really use my medium-sized Twisby for writing in the Hobonichis because it's just too big, at least with this new paper. I think, yeah, in the Hon it might still be manageable, but definitely not in the weeks. It bleeds a lot more on there. But mainly I wanted that for drawing. And so I've made a couple of drawings with it. I think you can tell that it's red, okay. I'm glad that it like shines through on camera as well. I did a couple of drawings with it. I did these two on Sunday, and then I did this one this morning. I might do another one today because I have a lot of ideas. I love the way that it looks in the pen, especially like when it's kind of moving around and it sort of stays on the walls of the transparent pen. It's just, I don't know, it looks really cool. So I like that. I'm gonna make a new series of drawings with that ink. Just thought I would try something a little bit different. I will say I've had my fingertips stained burgundy all morning, but that's okay. And I'm still drawing on the usual like Hansen paper. I really like this paper. It's really cheap, but it's really nice for drawing with ink and also drawing with pencil. It's 200 GSM, so it's like thick enough that it's not like flimsy, it's not like printer paper, but it's also not like as thick as watercolor paper, which is normally 300 GSM, and it's very smooth, which I like for working with ink, whereas I prefer my watercolor paper quite textured. So I use that like cloud texture watercolor paper that every time I go and buy, the guy at the art store is like, you're like the only person in town that uses this paper, and I'm like, thank you for stocking it still. I haven't bought some in a while because I've not been painting much, but I very much love it. And it's really cheap, and you buy in blocks of 50 pages. So this has just been like my alternative to keeping a sketchbook, because I can't find a sketchbook that I like. So I've not really kept a sketchbook in a few years because of that. Well, not in a few years, but like in a few months at least, since I've really started drawing with ink. I do have a couple of sketchbooks that I kind of keep around and then that I draw in every once in a while, but I don't primarily draw in my sketchbook. Like even these they're not like finished pieces, they're just sketches, but I've been having a good time just drawing on loose pieces of paper, and I have a pretty good stack at this point. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see if I end up making something with it, but I'm happy with the way that this ink looks, and especially the thing that I was most looking forward to and that I was curious about is that, so with my black ink, which is the Pilot Tua Aero black ink, it's a really rich black. Like when I bought that ink together with my fountain pens, I just wanted like the blackest, darkest ink I could find that was ideally waterproof, and I think that one is. But because of that, it means that it doesn't have any potential for layering because it's just solid black. So obviously you can build it up with hatching, but you can't build it up in value by layering it, if that makes any sense, which you can with this one, which I think is really nice. And it's been really fun to see how that looks within the drawing. Like even just these lines are definitely lighter than like these areas that I went over multiple times, and I kind of like a little bit of that color variation with this color, so I'm happy that you know, it's something that this ink does, and I'm gonna have fun experimenting with it. So that's it for drawing. What else did I have to show you? I picked up a CD today, the latest Sleep Token album that came out about 10 days ago, I think. And then not much else. I am taking a couple of days off knitting as well, just to rest my hands. But I am like about halfway through another cami, which is the wrong way around. It's a lace cami, so I'm really excited to block it and see how it blocks out and like how it grows, because lace really changes a lot when blocked. And I bought blocking pins last week so that I could block these lace camis really nicely. I'm also gonna probably place another yarn order either this week or beginning of next week for some more knitting for Olive Yarn, for some more camis, because I'm having a really good time working on these. But yeah, just taking a couple of days off to rest my hands and my forearms, because, you know, if I if I want to keep doing this, it's good to take care of yourself in that way. So that being said, I'm gonna get back to probably do another drawing. I'm gonna eat my strawberry fruit salad and drink my tea, and have a really cozy rest of the afternoon, because I've done all my uni work. So catch up with you later. Hi again. I'm back after spending the weekend at home with a lot to show you. I've made myself an iced matcha, the first matcha of the year probably, because I don't make them very often, but I do like them iced, so it's a warm day. I thought it'd be fitting, more fitting than a warm tea anyways. And I have a lot to show you, so I guess I'm gonna start with the drawings because you've seen a little bit of that throughout the week, and then we're gonna get into the stickers, and I have like some updates, some potential updates regarding the shop as well to talk about together with that. So I'll show you kind of the progress I made with the drawings. I'm not really sure where I left off the other day, but you've seen the drawing process of this. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I love kind of the light effects that I drew, the very organic shapes. I definitely want to do more of those. This was an old one that I think you've seen because I did this last Sunday. You've seen the bunny, I think. I know I've shared this on Instagram, but I'm not sure whether I've shared it here. There's a family of bunnies that live on campus in uni, and they're so cute, and we keep seeing them like in between the flower bushes. And I got a really sweet picture of one of them, and so felt like I needed drawing. And then the last two ones I did were, I like sometimes drawing within boxes. I've prepared a couple of other ones. I have them here, just with like larger boxes. Sometimes it's nice, it forces you to think a little bit differently, and so I think it can kind of push your creativity in different ways, and so I ended up using this one that I'd set up to draw some pictures from the past week. So this is some flowers on the way to uni. Strawberries, I feel like I've been eating so many strawberries, and then a coffee and playing cards with friends at the park, and then I drew some apples on Friday. So trying out some different compositions. I'm having fun with the color especially, and I really like the way that you can build it up a little bit more gradually. So it's been really interesting to play with. I have started like very loosely photographing these, like I'm just taking pictures of them on my phone and then roughly editing them and pulling them in Procreate, because I would like to maybe pull all of these together eventually into sort of like an art book. I've been thinking about making like art book versions of what's essentially my sketchbook at the moment. I feel like it'd be fun. So there might be a bit of text. I've written a couple of things for it, but it'll be kind of a project that I'll work on kind of over the next few months, so we'll see how that goes. But I've started at least, it's not going to be like the final scans or anything, because I'm going to do those with this camera like properly and clean them up properly, but I wanted to have a visual reference for how things were going, and I actually think I have that somewhere, but it might still be in my suitcase. Give me a sec. There it is. I have in this book? No, this one. I printed out the kind of the progress to stick in. I ran out of glue at home, so I'm gonna have to stick it in here, but I have a little screenshot of my progress in Procreate, and then a picture that I took of the candle drawing, and then I did a little bit of writing about it, and I also printed out a picture of my sticker progress. So some context first of all, because I don't think everyone is necessarily like up to date with everything. So I've been drawing sticker sheets for about 1.5 years, I think, maybe getting closer to a couple of years, and I've always just sold them as digital products in my shop because I've never been able to find somewhere that can manufacture them for me at the quality that I want, as in, like, it's really easy to find people that will make you sticker sheet of like 20 of the same sticker, but it's difficult to find people that will make you sticker sheets like we intend them in the journaling community, basically. And also the few places that I was able to find didn't really make them, either didn't make them in the quantities that I need, which is obviously like a fairly small quantity, or they did, and it would have just been ridiculously expensive for me to actually do that. Like, I wouldn't be able to sell them at all, and so that kind of defeats the point. But in October, I graduated from my bachelor's in biotechnology, and as a gift from my parents for graduation, I got a silhouette machine. I got the Silhouette Portrait 4, I think. And so I've been able to make stickers for myself for a few months, which you've kind of seen here and there in the videos, I guess. It's been really handy to have them just cut out and not have to cut them myself with scissors, which I did for a very long time. And I've had a really good experience with it so far. I'm not like a master of the program or anything. I've not, I just kind of look things up as and when I need them. But I've been able to figure out the things that I need, basically. The thing was, as soon as I got it, basically, I started thinking, like, okay, this opens up possibilities for me to make sticker sheets to sell on the shop. But I've never really been, very happy with the printing quality. I've always been using matte sticker paper, which I think is more like label paper, like just to print labels on. They make the ones that are pre-cut into different labels, but they also just make full no cuts A4 sheets, and that's just what I've been able to get so far. But this week I found another sticker paper. This is glossy sticker paper, and it's like photographic paper, but it has a sticker backing, essentially, and it is marketed for actual sticker making, and it had a lot of like good reviews of people, like from people that do actually make stickers, that said that it works really well. And so I thought I'd give it a go. It's not particularly expensive either. So I bought a pack of 50, and I thought I would do some experiments over the weekend, and I did. And I am really, really happy with the results. Like, immediately you can see the difference in colours. The colours are so much brighter on this paper. They're much truer to the colour on the actual design, which I've never been able to get with this paper. So immediately I'm so much happier with that. It took a bit of figuring out with like the cutting settings, because the depth is not necessarily always the same with all papers, but you know, I worked that out. And so I did some tests. So I'm gonna talk about these in a second. So I did some smaller tests at first. This is the size that I normally print my own sticker sheets at, just because I print on A4 paper, but if you're printing something that you're then going to cut with a sticker cutting machine, you're going to need registration marks, and so those come in a little bit from the edge of the paper. Like, if this is the A4 sheet, the registration marks are going to be, I think the closest to the edge, the Silhouette Studio software lets you put them is 1 centimeter, so that's what I do. And so you lose a bit of space there, and so with that, you can't fit 4 full-size A6 sticker sheets anymore, and so I just make them as big as I can, taking into account the fact that I need those like registration marks to be in place. So that's what these small ones are. So I just did a couple of tests to see like how differently the colors would print to like what I'm used to with the older paper, and I'm so much happier with them. I think these especially turned out really, really well, but I like the oranges, I think look really good, and I was trying out a couple of different printer settings, but I figured out sort of the one that I'm happy with, but in general they're so much brighter, so much like truer to the design than they were with the older paper, and so I'm really happy with that. So then I did some other tests with actual A6 size sticker sheets, because if I'm gonna make sticker sheets to sell in the shop, I want them to be like actual standardized A6 and not whatever this weird measurement is. So with these you can only print 2 on an A4 sheet basically, and so that's what I did. And I did a bunch of tests, so I reprinted these ones. Here I was just testing like a different printer setting that turned out much more muted, so I don't love this, but you know, I'm still gonna use them. Like these 2 are my favorite sticker sheets I've ever designed. I'm so happy with them. So I did these, and then I printed out, I did this morning, I printed out my date stickers, which are available on the shop as digital products, but they're available as like a full A4 page. Instead, I put them together as like A6 sticker sheets as well, and I forgot to print one out because to fill out that A4 sheet, I ended up adding like a bunch of labels at the bottom with like, there's some calendars, there's some like the names of the months, and then all of the days, and then there's like to-do lists, reading lists, that kind of stuff. And I put those in a 4th sticker sheet to complete the pack, and I forgot to print that out. So I'm gonna have to do that. I formatted it already, but I'm gonna have to like print and cut that next weekend. But you know, these are like the actual date stickers, and then some of the like galaxy doodles that I did I don't know, like a year ago at this point, but I really like these. I just wanted to have them in a little bit more of a portable format, especially if I'm going to sell them. I think this is a lot nicer. Very happy with how these turned out, and obviously, you know, you can peel them up, and they're very crisp, and I really like that. And then while I was at it, I also finished finally a sticker sheet that I've been working on for what feels like forever. I started it when I finished this one, which I think was like the end of February or the beginning of March, and then I've picked this up like 12 times, and I really now gotten around to finishing it, but it's like a stained glass sort of theme, and I really like it. This is my favorite. I think it'd do really well as like a bigger die cut sticker as well, so I might do that too, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. And then as I was like testing things out, I thought, because you can only print 2 A6 sheets on an A4 page, you end up wasting a lot of paper on the edges of that. So I've been trying to think about how I can kind of optimize that, and I think what I'm going to do is probably design like some smaller stickers that I'm going to make as die cuts, to include like as freebies or to use for packaging, like to close up glassine envelopes and things like that. But something else that I thought about was like sticker minis. I've seen like some people make them. I think that's so cute. I really love like this tiny card format. I made them 6 by 9 centimeters. And I did some tests. The first thing that came to mind when I thought about that was sticker dots. I've used sticker dots for a while in the past. I've not been using them recently just because I feel like the colours that I have don't really match the type of journaling that I do at the moment and the colour palette within that. And so I've not been using them, but I thought I could, you know, make some for myself in the actual colours that I want, and I did. That wasn't very successful. I'll put a little close up so you can see, but the first iteration of them ended up being cut completely, like, I don't know, completely off center from what it's meant to be. I think I figured out what the issue is for that, and I think it's like my fault. So I'm gonna do a second attempt with this specific design because I like this a lot better than this larger version. The size of the actual dots that are being cut out is the same, they're 5mm, but I think this one looks a lot prettier just as a layout, and you obviously get more, but it's obviously got less room for error for the silhouette to cut, basically, because the dot that's printed is closer to the size of the dot that's being cut out than it is in this one. I think this is like twice the diameter, but this second iteration worked out a lot better, so I'm glad that at least I found like a way to do that, and these are going to be like usable dots for me to put in my journals. These ones I didn't even finish cutting out. Like, this one is not cut at all, it's just been cut around the edges. I also tried making these like little sticker stars, which I think are really sweet, but again I had that same registration problem, and I'm not sure whether I'm really going to be able to figure these out. We'll see. I might have to print the stars a lot bigger as well. I'll do some more tests next weekend, but I had to get ready to come here, and my silhouette is at home, as well as my printer. So I did some tests there. I'm really happy with these at least, but I think these look prettier. So If anything, I think I can make like a midpoint work. So I have 5 in a row here and I have 7 here. I think 6 could still work pretty comfortably. But if I can make this one specifically work, I think it'd be lovely because you get so many more, and I don't know, I think it looks prettier as well. I do have an issue with the black though. It keeps printing with like these streaks on it, and I'm not sure why. So I'll have to kind of work that out as well, because there's no issue of that kind on any of the other colours, so I'm not sure what is happening. But we have sticker dots, so if everything ends up working out, these are probably going to be on the shop as well. The thing is, I still need to work some things out in terms of logistics, and mostly I think the most important thing to mention is if I end up, you know, being able to do this and being able to reopen the shop for physical products, which is going to be sticker sheets only for the time being, but hopefully bigger projects as well in the future. It's going to be European Union only this time around. The whole reason why I closed the shop after doing the Inktober zine in 2023, which was such a fun project. It was so cool to be able to put all of the packages together, and you know, I had the zine, I had a couple of prints, I had stickers, it was so fun, but shipping was an absolute nightmare. And shipping anywhere that requires customs is just not something that I'm able to do anymore. It takes them like at least 10 to 15 minutes to process a single parcel. And even for that, like, I had to go to the post office so many times, and I argued with so many people, and it was just not a good experience. So for now, at least, it's going to be European Union only. You know, it's the best that I can do at the moment. And for anyone outside of that, it's not going to, like, nothing's going to change. I'm still going to have all of the digital versions on the shop as well. So you're still basically going to get access to everything that you have access to right now. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to do this test with sticker sheets, and then hopefully this works really well, and we can actually make some more interesting products. Like, I'd love to make more booklets and more like even just little zines, like A4 zines, the kind of like this kind that you print on an A4 sheet and then you cut down the middle and fold into an 8-page zine. I think it'd be so cool to make projects like that. And it's something that I think has been a bit limiting for the past few months, because I've not, I've not been able to think about doing that, because if I'm gonna share a project and I can't ship it, I have to think about it in a way that is going to be a digital product only, and I think that's been feeling very limiting recently. So we'll see how this goes. I have some, some things to sort out before I can actually put the things on the shop. I'm away most of next week, so I think timeline-wise we're probably looking at like either the end of the first week of June or the second week of June, kind of around that. I'm gonna need some time to make some stock, to take pictures. I also don't know how much stock I should make, but we'll see about that. Let me know if you actually be interested, just so I can get a bit of an idea of how much stuff to make. Obviously, I can always make more. And also, if that's anything in particular that you're interested in, because I'm probably not gonna make physical versions of all of the sticker sheets that I've ever made. I'm not gonna do the advent calendar, for example. I'm not gonna do, I did an autumn set, it was like one of the first projects I did. I'm not gonna do that, but I am gonna do like the date stickers, obviously all of the most recent things outside of the advent calendar. Definitely like the spring stickers I made last year. I'm thinking about making more kind of similar to this. I'm probably gonna do the everyday set because I know a lot of people like that. But yeah, just let me know if you have anything specific that you'd like. I can kind of add that to my list. I'm probably gonna have some minis like this. We'll see, like in this time, what I can still come up with. I might make like some die cut stickers as well, as I said, so I don't know, we'll see. But that's where we're at with things. So I'm probably gonna spend the rest of my Sunday afternoon drawing. I have some ironing to do, and then hopefully I'm gonna make a nice dinner, and then I'm away most of next week. So, you know, I should get on with some editing because I'm so behind, but I'm probably gonna be even more behind by the end of the week. But it'll be fine. I don't know if I'll film next week at all, but you're gonna have videos anyways because I have like 3 videos to edit. So, you know, we'll sort that out somewhere. In the meantime, I hope that you had a really lovely week or a really lovely day whenever it is that you're watching this. Thank you as always for sticking around, and I will catch up with you hopefully soon. Bye!